Hello Gemini, all you single Geminis out there. So this is a very special reading for all the single people. This is the post-Valentine's Day reading for love for single people. The purpose of this reading is to just give you insight on a particular question I get asked a lot, which is, when will I find love? When will I find that true soulmate relationship? So, and some of you have requested special readings, like why can't single people get a reading just for them? Okay, well, I definitely think that's a great idea. So not only will I do my regular readings for people in love, in relationships, but for this month, I'm going to try it out because my schedule is so wonky. I'm going to, at least, since some of you still have questions about what's going on Valentine's Day, I think it's at least a great opportunity after Valentine's Day to do this for single people. And maybe you were quite disappointed at how your Valentine's Day went, and you're like feeling hopeless about the entire thing. So this is going to be a Celtic cross, and this is going to be it's a very popular spread. It's probably one of the most basic spreads people who are beginning to learn tarot use. I like this spread, especially for readings for single people, is because it looks at the energy around you, the energy around people you love, but it also looks at the obstacles that are in your path to finding true love. So there's a little bit of advice and reflection in this spread. We're going into your subconscious, your conscious, how you see yourself as far as having a loving relationship. So it might feel a little bit like psychoanalysis, but it's only the oracle trying to give you insight on where and why you are in this particular journey to love. So the first card that I'm going to pull is the King of Swords. And this is very important because this first card is called the Center card, and it is reflecting all the energies in regards to what is the situation right now, what is the energy surrounding this situation. The King of Swords is about making decisions and judging. It's also about wisdom and knowledge. So this is important, a big decision. Sometimes it can mean overthinking. The King of Swords can definitely have this reputation for being very intellectual. And if you are an air sign, most air signs are very intellectual, not so much emotional, but as far as love, it's an intellectual thing. Air signs also tend to be very idealistic about love, finding that perfect partner, this perfect image that you have. So this King of Swords is very relevant for you, Gemini, and I feel like that's the energy that's surrounding you right now, because it's definitely your element, and it's definitely giving me this vibe that after Valentine's Day you're rethinking a lot of things here. So the second card I am about to pull is going to be the Crossing card. The Crossing card is the energy that's going to either help or hinder that first card. So you have a Three of Wands, and this is never reversed. It's always read as if it's up. So this Three of Wands is about expectations and making plans, and sometimes this is the card of success. I feel as if just these two cards alone are saying, Gemini, maybe you are a little bit cynical about your potential relationships, but keep in mind that wands represent fire, and air nurtures fire. So it's also about your element actually being ignited, your imagination and creativity, because wands are also about creating things and new ideas. So a more positive energy, I think. Sometimes when we are in our element, whether it's water, air, fire, or earth, sometimes we do overload on our natural tendencies for that element. So as I said before, a lot of air signs do tend to overthink and be idealistic, and they want everything to be perfect. And based on that energy, you have this Three of Wands, like I'm excited about a potential relationship. Some of you might have just met someone. Sometimes it can also be a matter of waiting as well. You see that the ships have already sailed. The plans and the directions have already have been sent out. So now it's just a matter of waiting. The next card addresses the subconscious. In Wicker we have a saying, as above, so below. That means so within, so without. That if you do not have the realization and the power and the manifestation within, you won't be able to do it without or in the external world. So here, as far as what's underneath, the root of the issue, what's the biggest influence, it's a Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, pentacles representing earth, are always about being grounded and stable. It's also about thinking things through and going in tentatively. You don't want to make a decision that's too rushed or a decision that you haven't really thought through. So there's a little bit of hesitation here. It could even be a little bit of commitment phobia, because we have this King of Swords with the ideals and this perfect relationship. And as a result, even though we have this fiery energy, like I want to be in a relationship, I'm waiting for this person, I think I have found the perfect person, we go and we slow down a lot, because this Knight of Pentacles is slowing down, and Pentacles are the slowest energy in the tarot. And all of a sudden we're thinking things through. We're already making plans. But we're also, this Knight of Pentacles can also mean, even though we might feel passionate and even though we think a lot about relationships here, Gemini, this Knight of Pentacles is like, I'm just doing this, you know, I'm going to do the same thing, I'm going to overthink, and I'll make plans, and I'll have this set of plans that I have to stick to. So there could be a little bit of this need to have a little bit of control over the situation, not letting go quite a bit. I kind of feel, you know how a commitment phobe always finds things that are an excuse to get out of the relationship? Clearly, I don't think you're doing this consciously, Gemini, but I also feel that the reason you have such a slow energy with the Knight is that you do tend to, like, I really want to think about this. I have such a big ideal about having a soulmate relationship. Now I just want to think about plans and make sure the plans are perfect. But you can never get things perfect, Gemini. Sometimes you have to just let go and accept people for where they are. Accept yourself for where you are. So one scenario that I'm thinking about here is someone who will say, yes, I'm going to go out dating. I'm going to start meeting new people. But then you look at yourself and you say, well, I'm overweight. You know, I look like crap, I'm not ready yet, so I need to make plans and fix this before I'm able to move on. That's what I'm talking about here. The next card in your recent influence is a Nine of Pentacles. And a Nine of Pentacles is all about the good life and prosperity. Nine is near the end of that cycle, to where it's the end of a cycle and you're about to move to a new cycle in your life. Now, this is all about money and finances traditionally, but as far as romance or relationships, I do see a lot of socializing. Maybe it's because of Valentine's Day, or even back in Christmas or during the holidays. But I do see some opportunities that came to you in the recent past, and maybe that's why this Knight of Pentacles is having somewhat of a ripple effect as far as your thoughts and the plans you're making. This Knight of Pentacles does influence the Knight of Pentacles, of course, because not only are they the same element, but their root, what's below, our subconscious, always influences our actions. It always influences our decisions and what we choose to think about, what we choose to act about, what we choose to speak about. So a little bit of socializing or a party or an event that kind of has you with the gears spinning here. The next card will be at the top in your consciousness, Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities for dating. And I do associate Pentacles as part of the material, physical world, as that aspect of just dating and getting to know someone. It's just a physical, material thing. There's no emotional connection. So a lot of earth surrounding you, Gemini. And by the way, the King of Swords traditionally represents Aquarius, but it's still a significant air sign. So I'm like, Pentacles. You're thinking about dating, you're making plans for dating, you're thinking about meeting maybe new people, getting back in the saddle. And then in your near future, you have a Queen of Pentacles. So Gemini, this is just very, very interesting. The Queen of Pentacles is usually associated with being a good housewife. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but a partner in the home, father or mother, family, and nurturing the family. And you know, so traditionally, yes, the tarot can be very sexist because the Queen is frequently associated with a very feminine energy of family and creation and birth. And usually the Queen of Pentacles has symbolized, you know, the feminine energy in the physical material world, usually with home and family and being a good partner. So this could possibly mean, for some of you Geminis, meeting a new possible mate. This next card is called the Self. The Self, in this Celtic cross, it's about what energies are you putting into this situation. So this Ace of Wands, as a echo of this Three of Wands, now you're taking up the wand, and I think you're making plans here, and I think that's why this is a crossing influence. This is about creation. So there's, like I said, fire is nurtured by air, and it feels as if maybe in regards to love, yes, you do have this desire, and you feel like you're ready and willing. But it seems to be an interesting contrast with all these pentacles here, this slowing down. Fire can be very quick, but surrounding you are pentacles, which, being the element of earth, are slowing things down a lot for you. They're probably, maybe they're too slow. They're going slower than you would wish, even with your Knight of Pentacles below. So between your subconscious and yourself, I'm getting sort of like opposites clashing. Your thoughts get in the way. You want to make perfect plans. You want everything to go a certain way. And then surrounding you, but yet you still want to act. You still want everything, this new opportunity, you want it to come as soon as possible. So your thoughts and your actions are sort of clashing here, Gemini. What's in your environment, surrounding people, your friends, anyone who's surrounding you that's of significance. It can be friends and family, ex-partners, even people at your work. Well, this Two of Pentacles is the card of juggling two things, juggling two jobs, juggling two relationships. So now you have, like, out of the potential 10 cards, you have like 5 pentacles now, Gemini. And so I'm interpreting that as definitely lots of communication and exchanges with people. Once again, this 9 of Pentacles from the past, the recent past. I'm like, maybe some of you have been getting out, meeting new people. But this is a juggling. Surrounding your environment, there are people who are being very casual. And even if there's someone you are interested in, right now I'm not getting like that spark or emotion here. This Two of Pentacles, as far as romance or love, usually when I see this, I see someone who's distracted. And I always point this out. The boy is juggling those pentacles, but he's paying no attention to the water, which is about feelings and emotions and our intuition. The hopes and fears, this Ace of Cups. You have 3 aces. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and Ace of Cups. This is about falling in love, being emotionally free. I feel for you, Gemini, because of our, like I said, the air sign's tendency to overthink. Yes, this can be a hope to fall in love, to be able to know that you've met the one. At the same time, it can be a big fear of falling in love. And sometimes we do need to reflect about, are we really ready? And to look at the things that we do that kind of clash with what we really want. Why do we keep sabotaging relationships? Why do we keep running away? Why do we keep expecting things to be perfect? Well, so that when things do go wrong, we air signs have an excuse to get the hell out of Dodge, like, you failed my test. And so that's one aspect that I think some of you Geminis might want to reflect on. And here is the outcome card. Queen of Wands. Okay, so the clash of the wands with a sword and cup. Wands versus fire. Wands and fire versus pentacles and earth. What does it mean that fire ultimately wins? This Queen of Wands seems to take over a Queen of Pentacles. I'm not necessarily seeing this as 2 people, but I feel like, one, the Oracle is saying that love for some of you as you approach spring around May might have a very interesting relationship where it's going to be like, wow, where have you been all my life? Fire can be very passionate. You also need to be kind of aware that sometimes wands, especially the Queen of Wands, very seductive nature. You know, that feminine energy of mystery and attraction. So yes, a very seductive encounter for some of you. Fire is going to win out here because we go from the slow Queen of Wands, who's grounded, who's a little bit slow. She just nurtures relationships. And then you have this Queen of Wands who's a creative, a mother. Sometimes this can mean something about pregnancy. The Queen of Wands is like seductive and she ignites passion and your feelings just explode. So I feel, Gemini, that things seem pretty slow right now. You have all these aces signaling big opportunities coming your way. I feel like this summer for some of you Geminis is going to be very, very interesting. But I think one of the things you should be careful about are those big expectations here that are kind of setting you up, where you rush into a relationship and then the fire dies down and you're like, what am I doing here? And then you run away. So take that into consideration, but buckle your seatbelts, Gemini. That's all I've got to say for you in the next month. And that was my reading. Just a reminder, Instant Go. I am now available through Instant Go. You don't have to make an appointment. Just check out my scheduled hours and you can have a chat, video, or phone reading. Also, my special for February and all of March, my relationship energy readings will be $10. So you might want to take advantage of that. It's become pretty much my most popular reading. So for all of you individuals who've had a little bit of turbulence during Valentine's Day, and you want to know, like, well, how are things going? Where do they stand? You probably know, but if you need more insight, take advantage of this special reading. Take care. Thank you guys for your wonderful support. And of course, I'll see you next month. I'll see you on YouTube, and I hope to see you at Instant Go.